compute. There we go. All right, guys, cool. So we'll get started. Thanks for joining. And again, I'm sorry for the late notice. But we will record this and send it to those who couldn't make it. I think I know everyone. I'm the service team manager, and we also have on here Emily, Tate, and Ashley. I'll let them introduce themselves once we pass it over to you guys. I just have a few quick reminders, nothing big, and then we'll learn all about SNAP and free and reduced lunches. So on my end, one thing that we wanted to remind RAs of specifically was if we have bigger households who are more than a household of 6, which is the green card, we want to make sure that they get enough. And so what we're going to do is give them 2 cards. And so they would be doing 2 shops to make sure that they get enough for their family. If it's a household of 7, 8, 9, 10, so you would just give them the equivalent of what their household makes up. So a household of 7 would be a blue card and a green card, if that makes sense, and just kind of adding it up so that we can make sure those bigger households, which are pretty, few and far between, but that they do get enough food for their household. If you end up giving someone a low cook bag, which is on the grab and go rack, they're in plastic. They're for our customers who don't have cooking or refrigeration, etc. Please write their name on the clipboard. There's a clipboard that lives in that box, and so in that milk crate. So just make sure to record that so we can kind of track how many of those are going out the door, just as we implement that as a new service and can make sure it's sustainable and see how many are going out and to who. So that would be great. And then our only other reminder is just to make sure if you have any conversations that might need to happen out of earshot, that front desk area, it opens up right to the waiting room. And if you think it might be, I think, sometimes we all kind of get in our groove and we're just going, but sometimes we need to pop into the booth just to have a more private conversation. If it might not need to be heard by the whole waiting room, etc. It doesn't happen a lot, but I've just noticed here or there, like, oh, maybe we should talk about this. And just like, even if you're mid-conversation with a fellow RA, just say, hey, let's pop into this booth, just so we're out of earshot of folks, just to protect privacy. And if we, as volunteers and staff here do need to figure things out here and there and decide on a particular situation or whatnot, best to just do that there, and then we can come out and chat with whoever we need to. So that's all I had, was just those three little housekeeping things. I don't know who I'm passing it off to yet, but this awesome family engagement crew is gonna teach us all about SNAP. And gotta admit someone's sorry. And
Mo, can you let me share my screen?
Ooh, how do I do that?
Should be in the bottom. Let me see if I can.
Or
in like the settings somewhere.
okay. Yeah.
On mine, Mo, there's a green button
Okay.
right underneath your face.
Oh, cool. Multiple participants can share simultaneously. And sharing options. I'm just gonna say all participants. Okay. And then
Yeah, that works.
great. Learning. Thanks.
Okay, are people able to see that?
Yeah. Cool. All right. Thanks, Tate. Oh, wait.
Cool. So just to start things off, my name is Tate. I am the program application specialist. I've just been, maybe see me down there working on SNAP applications and helping be a resource assistant. I just started here in July, and I'm back at the food bank after working here last summer as part of the Kids Table team.
Hi, my name is Ashley. I am the family engagement manager. I've had the pleasure of knowing some of you for quite a while. I've been here for about 4 years, and I previously was in Marcus's position and then moved to Empower Place, and now work on the family engagement team.
My name's Emily. I've been working here since the beginning of May. I started in Tate's position and then transitioned into Empower Place. where I get to hang out and start programming for kids, which is what I've been doing for years now. I've almost exclusively worked in childcare since graduating from college, even though I got my degree in political science and dance studies. And I love being here and I'm so excited. So, hi.
And unfortunately, our last individual, Kevin, is on vacation, but look for the guy with some luscious hair and you'll find him.
Awesome. So just moving along, we are going to start off. I'll be talking a bit about SNAP and simplified SNAP applications, and then the double SNAP dollar program. And then Ashley will be discussing the free and reduced lunch applications, which we will be handing out. And then finally, just a little bit update on Empower Place. So let's get right into it. So SNAP is the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. People might know that as just food stamps, and it's a monthly benefit allowance that's based on reported income, and that's dependent on your household, which is all people living and making meals together. And people who are on SNAP get electronic benefit transfer cards, which is how they are able to purchase groceries at SNAP approved groceries at different places. This is just a picture of what the eligibility standards are for this past year. They will be updated, I believe, at the end of September. And so households who are meeting these income standards may participate in SNAP. And then there are expedited SNAP benefits for families who are in increased needs, and those are located in the SNAP assistance binder, which is right here. And so as a resource assistant, I think that this, if there isn't someone providing SNAP hours, this is just like a really helpful binder to look through real quick. Inside the binder, there are things like the income limits sheet, which I just showed on that previous slide. There's SNAP application assistance info for SNAP assistance. There's the application process sheet with updated hours, which we will be putting out at September. The family engagement team, like a lot of people, are having some vacation time at the end of summer. And so we will be able to provide regular hours, which we'll showcase for September. As of right now, we've been really tracking those on this whiteboard. Also in this binder, there is a QR code for the SNAP application that's just on little quarter sheets, and then some resources that are able to help people experiencing homelessness obtain ID documents and how to apply for a new Social Security card. So that is all in this SNAP assistance binder, which is located right here in the first or the furthest left RA booth. And then, like I said, this is the whiteboard that we've been keeping track of SNAP hours on each day. Emily started that, and I think that it's a pretty helpful resource for everyone to just quickly be able to reference if there are SNAP hours for the day, what time they are, and sometimes where they are, because sometimes we need to be over in the WIC office. Also, just wanted to showcase my card and this double SNAP dollars little pamphlet. If people are interested in SNAP and there isn't someone in providing SNAP hours, I think that it can just be really helpful to just give them my card. I've been getting in contact with a lot of people via email, some people leaving me phone messages, and really just able to let them know either what the SNAP hours are for the week or just be able to answer their questions. If people are already on SNAP, I think that this double SNAP dollars pamphlet is really helpful. If someone isn't on it, I think that it's not as useful for people because we can help people with applications, but not guarantee whether they are accepted to the program. And the double SNAP dollars program is really helpful if you are on SNAP, which I'll explain that in a sec. Moving on to simplified SNAP applications, even if you aren't, a SNAP, someone who's able to give that SNAP assistance, you can still give people our simplified SNAP applications. This is what the first page looks like. And these are really just the bare minimum information people need to apply for SNAP. And if you don't know, what happens is we want to tear off this first sheet, give it to someone, and then get that application back from them. And then usually I will submit this within 1 to 3 days and online, and then send them an email. But when we're giving these to customers, we really want to emphasize that these need to be returned to us and ask them to fill it out as soon as possible if they're able to in the RA booth right there, if they want to in the waiting room. Some people do want to take them home, but we just want to emphasize that we want them back at the food bank. They're not accepted by the Office of Public Assistance. And we do have a new version of this form coming out in the next week or so. So just stay tuned. I put a note in this area in case when we run out. This is where you can find the simplified SNAP applications in the resource like wall of amazing resources that we give to people. And then over here, this is where they are to be turned in. I know that was a lot of information. So if we have any questions regarding SNAP, I'd love to field those.
Well, Tate, this is Sue. And so that cover page, does it have something on the flip side that people fill out? It looks like just a page of instruction.
Yeah, it's a whole packet. I just provided the first page there. It's about 3 pages long.
Oh,
And
so
I
you're
just-
saying give the whole thing,
Yes,
not
but
just the cover page.
yeah, on the cover
Okay.
page, it says to tear it off because they keep that cover page and they submit the rest of the application back to
Oh,
us.
so we're giving the whole thing to them. That makes sense. Okay,
Yes.
okay. And then the other thing is yesterday, one of my partners asked, when we were ordering resource sheets, asked if we could get a resource sheet that showed all the SNAP hours for the week as opposed to just for today. That's to say to a client, I can't come back today, but tomorrow the hours are going to be. Is that in flux right now?
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Ashley.
Yeah, with the store model change and with just vacations of staff, our team has really shifted and had to be either in the store or in Empower Place more. And unfortunately, we do not have a consistent schedule until September. So
Okay.
starting in September, we'll have those flyers available again that we'll be able to hand out. I'm so sorry. I know it's been, but July and August with just kind of the all hands on deck with the store model change for our staff
Right.
team. It's just been really hard for us to be consistent.
Sure.
So,
Well-
but yeah, definitely in September, we'll
Okay.
have those flyers for you.
Okay. And I thought I had heard that it was going to stabilize. But when that came up yesterday, it's kind of like sometimes a resource assistant will think one thing and the other resource assistant will think something else. So that will stabilize in September. For the time being, we're just going to write it on the whiteboard. Okay.
So Tate, this is Marilyn. I just wanted to ask you, you mentioned if somebody can't be there or you're not available when they're there, they could call that phone number on their business card and you can tell them when you will be available. Is that
Yeah.
what you meant?
To kind of address both of those things, I think that if there aren't any SNAP hours for the day and just, Sue, like you were asking, if, someone wants to know the SNAP hours for the rest of the week, they can get in contact with me and I will know most of the time my SNAP hours and I can try to set up an appointment for them and try to work with them to just find a time for them to come in. I think that that's been really effective in like the past 2 weeks. I've been able to set up several appointments for people to get that time. And then I know like I kind of have like a half-hour block-ish assigned to people. And I think that that's the best way for them to just know what those hours are. But they have, like Ashley said, like we've been working with dealing with this, it's providing support to the store model, but also other things going on, needing coverage for people in, an Empower Place and in the store. But yeah, just giving them my business card, because also some people might just have questions that I can answer via email or via a phone call.
So you could call them back if they don't have email.
Yes, I get messages. I'm not on my desk all the time, but I've had a system for just going through my voicemails, returning people's calls, because I do find that email is not the best way for other people to get in touch.
Is that phone number on your card your personal phone number or the food bank phone number?
It goes to this phone. My phone, sorry, like my desk phone.
Okay, and I just have one more question. So is SNAP a federal program or a state program?
It's a
And if
federal
somebody
program.
comes in and they've been out of state and they had SNAP, do they have to go to the office to transfer it here to Montana, or how does that work?
Yeah, it's been a case by case basis for when people are, if they're finished with their benefits in another state, or if they have just had them in the past. And when I've filled out SNAP applications, on the application, there's a whole detailed section on previous public assistance, and they ask for very specific things like what state, what's the last month you received benefits, do you still have an EBT card? And so that is how people get transferred from one state to another. Emily,
So
do you have
it's
anything more
basically
to?
filling out the form again, filling out the form here.
Yeah, I would just add that usually you do not have to transfer your EBT status if you plan on going back to the state that it originates, if that makes sense. So if people are traveling, they don't have to switch their SNAP or EBT cards. If they plan on living in Montana, they definitely do. And I believe they have a 30-day window to notify the OPA to cancel their original SNAP card and reapply in Montana.
Okay, thank you.
Great questions, y'all. Does anyone have any others before we move on to talking about double SNAP dollars?
Okay, let me ask you, it's, I get people, sometimes who say they've applied, they're waiting. It seems like it's an inordinate amount of time they've been waiting. Can you intervene with that kind of thing?
So basically, we're working on a new process. We've just met with Marilyn from All Nations Health Center, who was working at the OPA, and we really got some insight into the process. And our goal, I think, from now on is to try to help people a little bit more get to the interview stage and really prepare them for that. Because basically, once you apply for SNAP, you have 30 days to complete an interview. I believe the Office of Public Assistance contacts you after 11 days if you have not scheduled an interview. And we really got some great information from Marilyn on how best to call to set up those interviews, because there's been a lot of just difficulty with people understanding when to call. It seems like all the interviews are full, they go in person and they're waiting for hours. And so we really want to try to provide a more personalized experience to individuals, because I think being new in this position, I'm catching up on the backlog, making sure people are signed up, getting signed up and submitting their SNAP applications. But we really want to work on that follow through and make it more personal. And now we have better insight into that process.
Okay.
Basically, the OPA should be sending them a notice, but people, especially who are experiencing homelessness, are not receiving those. Maybe someone's phone is not in service, or maybe they don't have enough minutes. And if the OPA calls them, then, and they don't receive that, or they miss the call, it's on them to call the OPA back. It's sort of like a game of tennis. Now the ball's in their court, but they might have missed that call. And the OPA, honestly, I don't know if they leave a message saying it's the OPA or not. But so our goal from, I think, now on is to really provide more guidance to that process. And I think we've said that more in writing, but now that we have better insight into it, we want to walk them through that more, because Marilyn at All Nations, she is having people basically allow her to be, I think it was, do you remember, Ashley, what it was called? An authorized representative. And that's what I was saying with why we're updating those forms. We want to include a new section where people are signing over or not, deciding not to sign over us as authorized representatives, mainly myself, because you can, apply for them. You can call the Office of Public Assistance on their behalf to get their case number. You can even do the interview for people. I don't really know if I feel comfortable doing that, but maybe in some extenuating circumstances with people maybe who are in person with me, I can help them through that process. But basically that allows us to just have a lot more information and help people, because I feel like I've been able to get in contact with plenty of the people that I've been working on these cases with, but maybe the OPA just calls them one time and that's it. And so that next page of the form is basically going to be, I'm are you saying yes to allowing Missoula Food Bank to be an authorized representative on your case? Because that's how Maryland is able to provide this like very one-on-one assistance through the process. And that's what our goal is.
That's
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, sorry, that was a bit of a long answer, but we just had this amazing meeting yesterday and we're really just figuring out this process as we go. So moving on to the Double Snap Dollars program. This is mainly for people who already signed up for SNAP. I think that it's an amazing program with orchestrated by the Community Food and Agriculture Coalition, but it's really just best to give more information on this to people who are either pending or already received their SNAP benefits. Basically what happens is for $1 that you spend on SNAP eligible foods, you can get $1 towards free fruits and vegetables. And this is available at 3 main places. The main place that people are really going to use this is at the farmers market. There's usually a table set up with people from the Double Snap Dollar program, and you can show them your EBT card and get up to $30 of basically tokens to use at the farmers market to allow you to get fresh fruits and vegetables. You can also use your EBT card at Walmart and shop. And there's, I believe, a deal there with like the Walmart Plus thing. And so you can use your EBT card online to create a cart and purchase items at Walmart. And then finally, at Albertsons, there is this loyalty program to get a $5 coupon for fruits and vegetables, which you can use within 90 days. And that was just started. That's at the East Missoula location, Harlem, and Wolf Point Albertsons. And so, oh, sorry. Any questions about Double Snap Dollars or what that program is? Okay. And then I just wanted to cover a few additional resources. If as a resource assistant to connect people, there is the Women, Infants, and Children's Program, or WIC, and we have a WIC representative here Mondays and Thursdays from 9 to 5, and those benefits are also issued on EBT cards, and that's just specifically for like pregnant women, infants, and children. There's also the Medicaid and Healthy Montana Kids Program, which is a free low-cost health insurance plan providing coverage to Montana kids up to age 19, which includes medical, dental, and eye care. And sometimes people who are signed up on Medicaid or who apply for Medicaid, their kids can get the benefits, but they might not. And then finally, Ashley's going to talk about the free and reduced lunch program. But if you are on SNAP, WIC, TANF, or Medicaid, kids can get free or reduced school meals. Sorry. Any questions about all that before we move on? Yeah, Wayne. I think you're muted. Wayne, I think you're muted. Yeah.
unmute. How about that? Got me now?
Yep.
Okay. I thought I unmuted me down there. Anyway, did you just say that WIC benefits go on to the EBT card?
Yes, I believe so.
So if a person has SNAP benefits and WIC, is it segregated on their card? So when they go to use it, they can only use it for this if it's WIC, or that if it's EBT? Or is there a difference? I don't even know if there's actually a difference in purchasing requirements.
I can give a little bit more information on that. I don't know exactly if it's two separate cards, but I do know that there are really specific requirements for WIC food purchases. And so there is for SNAP benefits, but it is not quite stringent. WIC requirements are very particular on types of milk, types of cheeses, those sorts of things. If you ever go to a grocery store, not any grocery store, but like I know Albertsons does this, you will look and you'll see labels on the food right below the prices that'll say like WIC approved food. And so that kind of like, if you start to notice that at a store, you'll see certain things. Cause I talk to families all the time that they're like, you know, oh, I want to buy organic whole milk. that might not be approved on their WIC benefits. They have to buy maybe regular whole milk or only 2% or whatever it is. There are different requirements, but I don't know if it's on the same card or just two separate cards.
Thanks.
I just saw, I was doing some research for WIC and it said that it was on the EBT card as well.
So the store computer figures that out for them. When they go to Albertsons and they buy a bunch of stuff and they use their EBT card, the cashier or the checker IDs the foods that qualify and then say, okay, you owe me $12.93. I've never used a card, so I was just curious how that actually works.
I would guess that they're two different cards, but I'm not positive. I wouldn't think that they're on the same one. It could totally be that way, but I would just assume that they're on different ones, but we'll look into that way and we can definitely keep you updated on that, just because that is a good question that we don't know the answer to.
The users, I'm sure, know.
Sure.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start my part. I'm just going to screen share really quick to get us back to where we were. So I'm so sorry. Hold on 1 second. Okay, sorry. Let me just get where we left off. Okay, can everybody see my screen? Okay, great. So I'm going to start talking about free and reduced school meals. So this is a program that Missoula County Public Schools, as well as schools all across the country do. But in particular, we're going to talk about Missoula County Public Schools. So right now, kiddos that go to Missoula County Public Schools will need to apply to have either free or reduced price lunches this school year. Just a little bit of back history during COVID, nationwide, and then also state by state, there were different situations, but meals for free for all kiddos for a couple of years there during COVID. Starting last school year, MCPS, Missoula County Public Schools, didn't offer free school meals for kiddos again. And so families had to reapply for this program. And here at the food bank, with your help as RAs, we were able to get over 6,000 forms filled out for Missoula County Public School families and databased. So that way those kiddos were enrolled in this program. So every single year, families have to reapply for this program. So even though the family may have filled out a form last year, they're going to have to do it again this year. An amazing, cool thing that Missoula County Public Schools does is they offer what is called breakfast after the bell. So that is free breakfast for kiddos in kindergarten through 8th grade. In the elementary schools, this looks like kiddos eating breakfast in their classroom once the morning bell starts. For middle schoolers in Missoula County, that looks like the middle schoolers having to go to the cafeteria, grabbing their free breakfast, and then bringing it to their classroom to eat. We're seeing in some of those elementary schools where the breakfast is brought into the classroom, we're seeing almost 100% participation rate for kiddos eating breakfast at school, which is incredible. And also something that's really great is that these forms help us be able to determine where our summer open meal sites are. It's part of the requirement for the federal government of like how many open sites we can have. So the more families we get signed up on this program, the more open meal sites Missoula Food Bank is able to offer next year. So our goals for this upcoming school year, like I said, is last year we did, there were 6,000 of these paper forms filled out, but for the first time ever, Missoula County is doing an online form, which is pretty incredible. So we're helping families transition from that paper form to the online form. We're going to be asking, and especially you in the RA booth, Ask every family that uses Missoula Food Bank if they filled out a form yet for this school year. We really want to get it going before school starts, so that way we can prevent school meal debt accumulation. And then our team, the family engagement team, we're going to be attending a lot of back to school events as well to assist families that to sign up. So this is a slip of paper that you are going to have on each of your RA booths starting today. These are going to be forms that kind of help let families know, do I need to sign up for this program? So it's going to start off by saying, applying for free and reduced school meals benefits is easy. Here's how. So number one, do you have SNAP, TANF, or FDPIR benefits? So Tate's already talked about SNAP. TANF is temporary assistance for needy families. And FDPIR stands for Food Distribution Program on Indian Reservations. We don't see that really here in Missoula County Public Schools, but if we have families traveling from Arley or even way more up north, we might have individuals that are on this program. If a family is on SNAP, TANF, or FDPIR, they do not need to apply for free or reduced school meals. They are automatically registered for it through a process called direct certification, and they're going to be getting a letter from the OPA, the Office of Public Assistance, as well as their school district. This isn't just Missoula County, this is any school district in the state, but they're going to get a letter saying, congratulations, because you're on X, Y, or Z program, you are automatically signed up to receive free school meals. So if they say they're on any of those things, great, we're done. They don't have to do anything. Another really cool benefit, as of July of this year, the state of Montana decided that if a child is enrolled on Medicaid, that they qualify for free or reduced meals. So the next question, number 2, is, are you on Medicaid, or is your child on Medicaid? Because sometimes children are on Medicaid, but parents might not be. Like maybe the parent gets health insurance from their employer, but it doesn't translate down to their families. So that's something that if they get Medicaid, they also don't need to sign up. They're going to be getting a letter from the OPA and the school saying, because of you're on Medicaid, because your kiddo's enrolled, you either qualify for free or reduced meals. Okay, but let's say they aren't signed up for any of these programs. Then say if you don't automatically qualify for those programs because you're not on any of those, then have them take a picture of this QR code with their phone, and it's going to automatically take them to the online form for them to fill out. And what's really cool about free and reduced meals is you can apply or reapply for school meals at any point throughout the school year if your income, living arrangement, or household size has changed. But what's cool about it is if you're, let's say maybe a family is going through a transition right now and they don't have maybe two working adults in the household at the moment because they just moved here. Get them to fill that out. And then let's say in like 2 months, maybe both of the adults are working. They don't have to let them know about income changes. So their child can still stay on this program. It's not like a SNAP benefit where you do have to let the Office of Public Assistance know about any changes. People are able to just kind of keep that benefit for the entire school year. We're really pushing people to apply early and as well as electronically, because that'll stop school meal debt accumulation. So let's say we have situations where individuals don't have a QR code or don't have a phone or don't have email or internet access. We have paper copies available, and I'm going to show you really quick how to fill them out. We also upfront are going to have the income eligibility requirements. This is, as all government income charts, it's super readable, but on the left side here, you'll notice this is the free meal column of where families can look to see based on their household size, as well as how their income comes in if they qualify for free meals, or on the right side, reduced meals. I don't know yet what the reduced meal price is this school year, but last year it was 40 cents instead of $3.25. And so like if you don't qualify for free and reduced meals and you wanted a hot lunch, it was $3.25. But if you qualified for reduced, it was 40 cents. And then if you qualified for free, it was just 100% free. So this is the paper copy of the form. I know that this is really hard to read on this PowerPoint. We have this example is downstairs in the RA binder hot sheet, and I'll show you where in just a moment. But there's basically 4 main steps, and it's double-sided, but the first side is all that's mandatory. Like I said, we're really pushing people to do electronic. We want them to take a picture of that QR code or take a flyer that has that QR code on it. But if they can't do that, help them fill out this paper copy really quick. So I've highlighted the 4 steps in pink. Step 1 is where you list all of the children. You can do a couple sheets because like this only holds 4 kiddos and maybe they have 5. Just attach a separate sheet and staple it to it. But you want to list the child's first and last name as well as the grade. You do want to make sure that this is just for Missoula County Public Schools. As you can see in the upper right-hand corner, it lists Missoula County Public Schools there. If it is not, let's say they're in Bonner or Clinton or something like that, they can fill out that form. But we need to write in that upper right-hand corner the school that the kiddo goes to so we can send it to the right school. If that's not written, we're going to assume that they're a Missoula County Public School kiddo. Step 2, do any household members, including you, participate in SNAP, TANF, or FDPIR? If you remember, SNAP, TANF, and FDPIR is an automatic qualification into this program. If they say, oh, yes, I do have SNAP, we don't have to do anything else. Just be like, oh, you know what? You don't have to fill out this application. Don't worry about it. So we can just stop it there. So they should be selecting no, though. Step 3, list all household members and income for each member before taxes and deductions. They consider a household member anybody that's living with you and shares income and expenses, even if not related to you. So this could maybe be parents, but that aren't married partners. They could be still because they're sharing expenses. It could be different roommate situations too. If income is pooled in some way, it could be aunts and uncles, multi-generational households. So just say it's anybody that's living with you, and if you share your income and expenses, then we want those listed. So you're going to put the adults' names. You're going to put whatever their income is, as well as any sort of like public assistance, or child support or alimony, pension or retirement or social security. You'll see different columns for that. Down here, these are ones that are typically missed, but it's saying total household members. And then the last 4 digits of social security of the primary wage earner. That can really be like in this example, I put myself and my husband and our income as equal. So I just put my social security number here, but it can just be any of the adults. Right here, showing child income. Now you might be thinking like, what sort of child income could that be? But if you think about like a 16-year-old that maybe is like working at Dairy Queen on the weekends, we want to list that income right there. And then the very last part down here is just contact information. We need them to sign it. We need them to put the date, and we need them to put their mailing address, because that is where Missoula County Public Schools is going to mail them a letter saying that they are enrolled in the program. If any of this information is missing, Missoula County Public Schools will have to reach out, get it filled back out by them, and it can cause a delay, and it could cause some debt to accumulate. Okay, so the information. So this right here, this is that RA hot sheet binder. In this very first page, I have the income eligibility sheet listed right there. I also have a sample filled out of one of these forms with everything highlighted. And I also have an FAQ sheet for common questions that you might encounter. And then if you do have a paper copy, right over here next to the phone, there's a little black basket with a hot pink sign on it that says completed free and reduced meal applications. Again, we're not going to be collecting 6,000 like we did last year, because we're really pushing people to do it online this year, but have that paper option available. And it's right here. And the paper forms, I didn't take a picture of it, but it's just like where Tate showed you with the simplified SNAP applications and that big white kind of resource
Library.
tower of everything. You'll find it under free and reduced. So these are some common questions that you might encounter with individuals. I have SNAP, TANF, Medicaid. Do I still need to fill out the form? No. You're going to be getting a letter from OPA and the school district saying that you're automatically qualified. I have multiple kids at multiple schools. So like, let's say we've got a kiddo at Hawthorne and CS Porter and Big Sky. Do I need to, oops, sorry, my hand hit it. Do I need to fill out a form for each? No. They can fill out one form for their family if they're all in Missoula County Public Schools. So if they're all in the same school district, same form. There is a couple interesting examples of Lolo. So Lolo Elementary goes into Big Sky High School. So you might have a family that lives in Lolo, but they're going to be in 2 different school districts. So we need to fill out 2 separate forms because we have 2 separate school districts. So just keep that in mind. And again, if they're not in Missoula County, maybe they're in Hellgate Elementary or Bonner or Clinton or Frenchtown, amazing. We will mail those forms off to the right school, but we got to put in that upper right-hand corner, we got to cross out MCPS and put whatever school district it is. I didn't qualify for meals last year. Will I qualify this year? Maybe. They increase the income eligibility requirements every July. They take into fact inflation. And so if they didn't qualify last year, have them take a look at that income eligibility sheet that I showed you a couple slides ago that's going to be in the front of that RA binder because they might qualify this year. What happens after I fill out this form? So if they fill out the electronic version, food services at MCPS is going to be automatically databasing people and sending out letters as soon as they get all that information in saying, hey, you qualified for free or reduced meals. You know, you're all set for the school year. This QR code that I showed you before, this works for other school districts across the state. It takes you to the general form to fill out. So again, if they live in Arley or Frenchtown or Bonner, they can take a picture of this QR code and do that digital form as well. If they fill in a paper form, we turn them into MCPS and they will then process them in person. And then people might say, do I need to put down all this information? I'm not comfortable, you know, giving out my income or my address. Unfortunately, yes, the MCPS will process it unless it has all of the information. So unfortunately, they do have to put it all down. Okay, does anybody have any questions regarding free or reduced meal applications?
I have
Yeah.
a question, Ashley.
Yeah.
If somebody asks, how would you explain meal debt accumulation to them?
Yeah. So if a kiddo, like I have a 3rd grader, if he goes to school one day and we are not on the free or reduced meal program and he's able to get a meal that day, the cafeteria staff they don't stop them from eating or anything like that, but it gets put on his debt, gets put on his account. And what happens is I get a letter then saying like, you know, every quarter about this says like, you have an outstanding balance of this, you have to pay it. Let's say it's like $5. And then every single year this happens. Like one day he's like, I really want a corn dog. And it just keeps happening. By the time he graduates, if I haven't paid off that debt when he's graduating from MCPS, he will not receive his diploma from the school district.
Wow.
So school meal debt accumulation, he'll still graduate, he'll still go through the ceremony, but they give him an empty folder without an actual diploma on the inside. And so and it works the same way, like if they have like an art fine or a library book fine or anything like that. If a family starts the school year and let's say they fill out a paper form on the first day of school, it took us 6 weeks last year until almost mid-October to get all 6,000 of those forms databased. that 6 weeks that families were accumulating meal debt. Now, in theory, the food services individuals wiped that debt clean once they were enrolled in the program. But that's really scary if you don't know if you're going to be enrolled in the program. And I can just speak from personal experience. My son's debt didn't get wiped clean. And I had to go and make an in-person appointment and go to the administration building and say, hey, I got this bill for like this dollar amount. We don't have to pay that, I had to go in person, and that's just an extra barrier that we don't want to put individuals through. So the sooner we can get forms filled out, and if we can get them to do them electronically, the quicker this process starts, and then school meal debt accumulation won't happen.
Thank you. That's really helpful to know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
What happens if I give them a form
Mhm.
and they say, well, I'll just take this to the school, or I'll fill one out at the school.
Mhm.
Can they do that? Can they just go to the school and fill out that form?
Totally. They absolutely can. I get a packet about this thick every single school year from my kiddo's school of forms and paperwork I have to fill out. Again, it's just one of those things that if they don't fill it out and turn it in for a couple weeks, then it takes 6 weeks to process it. Letter has to come in the mail. You're having that school meal debt accumulation. They are absolutely more than welcome to take that form. They're more than welcome to bring it back to us too. That's why we're really though trying to push that online form. If they can take 5 minutes, enter in their information, it's already going straight to Missoula County Public Schools or whatever school it is. And they can get free school meals if they do it this week, next week, the week after, before school starts. So we're really trying to push them to do it as soon as possible. So that way they can just start the school year off with one less piece of paper to have to fill out at the beginning of the school year.
Seems like it would be nice if we had a computer available for them to do it right on the spot.
Yeah, we've
Um,
talked about, Tate is during those SNAP hours. If you
Right.
ever see Tate or one of our SNAP assistants, they're going to be there with a computer. Absolutely. That QR code though, too, people can bring it up on their phone, and we have the free Wi-Fi too, which is a good way to do it. But yeah, we'll chat more about that, especially if you're running into that often. We'd be happy to figure out a way to do that too.
The other question that I get is about the school lunches.
Yeah.
Is that so many of the households that I'm seeing are not familiar in the family sense. There are multiple made-up families living in under one roof.
Okay.
If Uncle Joe is living there also, and he has enough income that he doesn't qualify for SNAP, whose income matters on that thing that says if you qualify for this, that, the other thing, it's automatic? I mean, is it just the mother or father, or the household like SNAP? Anybody in the household that makes money, it gets reported.
I would say like in the sense of a blended household like that, it's how they pool their income and expenses. So like Uncle Jim, if he's paying rent, and it's kind of like more like a roommate situation, I would say his income wouldn't impact it. But if he's also paying for school supplies, he's paying for activity fees, he's paying for food every single night, if he's taking part in all of the household expenses in that sense, his income is going to impact it. But I think if we could consider Uncle Jim like a roommate where those expenses are pretty separate from the child and their immediate parents, I
Right.
wouldn't think that they impact it.
So they don't have to, on that form, put down the names of all adults living under the roof.
It says to list adults that share income and expenses. And
Yeah.
so if they all pool their money together and they
Then
all
that name
share,
goes, okay.
yeah, if they don't, if they just like, I lived with my in-laws for a while, but I bought my own food. I had my own expenses and things like that. And we paid a part of the rent. And I wouldn't have considered them part of all the other stuff. It was more like a roommate situation rather than all of our income getting pooled together.
Okay, I get that. Thanks.
Yeah, of course. Does anybody have any other questions about free and reduced meals before we move on to Empower?
Let me just ask real quickly. So I interviewed a person this week whose child goes to DeSmet School. And
Yes.
DeSmet School gets free breakfast and free lunch. Everybody gets
Mhm.
it. And I don't know if they're in MCPS, are they?
Having free breakfast and lunch.
No, but are they part of MCPS? Just
No. We live in a really weird area. DeSmet is its own entirely separate school district, all like 120 kiddos. They are part of a program called CEP, which stands for Community Eligibility Program. And that basically means that over 62.5% of the kiddos are shown as having a high need, and it's a federal program that they get free and reduced meals for. That's something that we've been trying for the last 2 years to get MCPS to enroll in. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to convince them to do it, but if you're interested in learning more, stay tuned, because we'll definitely be doing some advocacy work in regards to that. But it's amazing. Yeah, they have free breakfast and lunches for all children at that school.
Are there any schools in MCPS that do that?
No.
Lowell? No, nobody.
Nope.
So it either have to be the whole MCPS, not school by school.
Actually, with CEP, you can enroll just a high need school. So we've been working on trying to get MCPS to enroll the highest need schools of Franklin, Lowell, Hawthorne, CS Porter, and Russell. 6 years ago, MCPS was enrolled in this program, and they had about 5 schools enrolled in it. But they've stopped doing that program. Franklin qualifies for it. Franklin could have free meals at that school for every child, but MCPS hasn't enrolled in the program. So that's part of what our advocacy work is here, is really pushing MCPS to enroll in that program, because free school meals, like, what a huge benefit to those families at that school. But yeah, technically Franklin is the highest needs school in the district now. It has surpassed Lowell, which has traditionally been the highest needs school.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as far as DeSmet having a program like that, there's no applications necessary.
Not
It's
at
just-
all.
It's a shoe-in. Okay.
Yep.
Thank
It's
you.
a shoe-in, no application, nothing like that. But
Yeah.
Hellgate Elementary, Target Range, Bonner, Frenchtown, Clinton, Lolo Elementary, those are all separate school districts, even though
Okay.
they're very close to us.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I'm going to do a very quick little chat about Empower Place. URAs are one of our #1 refer of families to Empower Place, which we so appreciate. So whenever you see kiddos hanging out with families, definitely send them on in. So Empower Place, these are our numbers from this last year, but we had about almost 13,000 visitors to Empower Place last year. We were able to serve almost 9,000 summer meals, 3,300 after school meals, and then on Fridays, we were able to serve 2,200 Empower Packs, which are the weekend meal kits. We had 94 different partner activities that were led in the space. And this is a quote from my son, Ryder. My favorite part of Empower Place is when I see all these kids having fun and playing. It makes my days. And he wasn't coached. That was his own little thought. So just some general things about Empower Place. Everybody is welcome in that space, any kiddos, any age, but ages 5 and up are able to stay and play. So when caregivers are shopping in the food bank store, if their kids are 5 or older, they can hang out in Empower Place with us while the parents shop. But if they are younger than 5, the kiddo does have to stay with the parent in the store. Even if there's like an older sibling in the space, even if it's like a 12-year-old and a 4-year-old, unfortunately, we do have to have that adult. We aren't licensed childcare, so we do want to make sure that kiddos stay safe and that we know where everybody is at all times. What's really cool also about Empower Place is that we are a satellite branch of the Missoula Public Library. So all of the books in the space, we have about 250 from the Missoula Public Library. They're all able to be checked out as well as returned. Any book that's checked out from the Missoula Public Library can be returned to Empower Place. So next time you come into your RA shift, if you have some books you need to be returned, we can check them back in for you, and then they'll go back into circulation at the library. Also, every day we offer different programs for families. Most are led by our staff team, but we also have outside partners like Spectrum Science, Historical Fort Missoula, the Insectarium, Missoula County Public Schools that all come in and do programming and play with us in that space. I just really wanted to talk about some of our meal distribution because this is something that is really hard to keep track of. It's always kind of constantly ever changing. But right now with summer meals, that's going to end on August 31st because Missoula County Public Schools is going to be back in session. But right now we offer breakfast from 10 to 10:30 a.m. every single day. And then lunch is offered from 11:30 to 1 p.m. on Wednesday and Friday, or 11:30 to 6 p.m. on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. So we're kind of in sync there with our store hours. So you'll notice Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday because our store is open later and Empower Place is open later. So we have lunches later. And then lunch, since we close at 1 o'clock on Wednesdays and Fridays, lunch ends. So then when Missoula County Public Schools starts up, we won't be doing breakfast and lunches anymore. We'll be doing after school meal distribution. And so we are able to give those out once school is done for the day. So on Mondays and Tuesdays, that's at 3:15. And then Thursdays, that's at 2:30 because Thursday is early out for MCPS. So they get out about 45 minutes earlier. Like I said, super easy to remember and understand. I'm so sorry for how confusing this is, but kind of like look about when your volunteer shift is and kind of just kind of take a look and see, okay, so this is the time, if you're on a Wednesday during the school year, just know that there's no meals that we'll be distributing during your volunteer shift if you're a 10 to 1 RA during that time. A change that is going to be happening starting August 31st when we do after school meals is that we are no longer going to be offering those grab and go meals. So all meals must be eaten on site by children. So prior to COVID, we were able to we do all of the meals via government federal programs, and we get reimbursed for the meals that we give out. Prior to COVID, all meals had to be eaten on site by children. COVID happened, people didn't want to conjugate, and so we offered grab and go, and we were able to still give reimbursement for that because there was a federal waiver that allowed that exemption. And so families were able to take the grab and go meals because they didn't want to bring 6 of their kids to the space all to eat without masks, et cetera, et cetera. That waiver expired last year, but we've been continuing to offer grab and go meals to anybody that comes into the space. Unfortunately, we just don't get reimbursed for it, and we're losing a lot of money that we don't have funding for. We have about a 10% reimbursement rate in Empower Place. So about 10% of individuals are actually eating the meal in the space. Most of them are food bank families that take the meals to go. I wish we could keep up with that. I wish we had secured funding for that. But we're talking about tens of thousands of dollars just in Empower Place that we aren't able to get reimbursed for. And so our leadership has made the decision that just this next year, we just can't offer tens of thousands of dollars of food that we can't get reimbursed for. So we're asking all families to eat on site. So as RAs, we've been really encouraging you, hey, if you notice, kiddos in the family, tell them to come into Empower Place and grab a go meal. Now, if you notice that they have kids with them and they're able to eat in Empower Place, be like, oh yeah, you should go in there and sit down and enjoy a meal. So we're not going to be able to tell families, oh, I noticed you got 4 kiddos, why don't you walk over to Empower Place and grab 4 meals for them if you don't see the kids actually in person. So this is a huge change for us. It hasn't happened this way since 2020. And so this is 3 years of habits that we're working on letting people know about is going to be changing. So we started handing out, this is a flyer that's at every single RA booth right now. We also have them in Empower Place, and we're telling every single family this that we see over the next 3 weeks. So this is a big shift for us, and it's unfortunately a really hard one. Then we don't like that we've had to make this choice, but kind of going along with our store model change is that, just looking at what our income and our donations and things like that have been over the last couple of years, and kind of all that COVID money that we received from the government, we're not getting anymore. So we have to kind of make some hard choices, and this is one of them. I know this is a big change. Does anybody have any questions about this before I move on really quick?
So now we could tell them, you could go get your whatever it's called.
Yeah.
That grab and go meal.
Mhm.
But as of August 31st, the children would have to eat it in there, but for now they don't have to.
That's correct. Yep. So you can continue to send people in until summer is over. We've decided to kind of do a transition as soon as school starts. We'll be transitioning. But yeah, if you notice it's breakfast or lunchtime that we offer it, send them on in, and we'd be happy to give them those grab and go meals.
Ashley, how do kids qualify? I know we have the forms in the RA booths. Are there any automatic ways that kids qualify to get food taken home with them on the weekend?
So the Empower Pack program,
Yeah,
that, it's not, there's really no qualification for that. It's just a request. It's just an
Okay.
ask. So there's no income requirements. Those are things that, the Empower Packs are things that we pay for. It's not a federal program. So we use and make those all with private donations, and we don't have any sort of income requirements. So if anybody does want to do the Empower Pack program, you just have them fill out one of those little cards, and then they're put in that kind of like black stacking thing, kind of where the simplified SNAP applications and the free and reduced meal goes. And Ashley Clark then contacts the school and lets them know about the kiddo that's being enrolled in the program. And then the next week they'll get one.
okay. thank
And
you.
on Fridays, Empower Place has them as well. So like we give them out to like in the summer to anybody, but like during the school year, if they're not signed up for it at their school, or homeschool kiddos, or maybe kiddos that aren't in school yet. Those are kind of the families that get them on Fridays in Empower Place.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, do we have any other questions regarding Empower Place or meal distribution in Empower Place?
I'm sorry, I have another question.
Yeah, absolutely.
So during the summer,
Mhm.
they have to fill that form out to get it in Empower Place, or can they just go to Empower Place and ask for the Power Pack on a Friday?
They don't have to fill out any form to get it from Empower Place. That is only if they would like, that is only if the adult would like the kid to get one at school, or like in Head Start on a Friday.
So it's only during the school year, not during the summer.
That's exactly right, because they're distributed via schools, but in Empower Place during the summer, we ramp up how many we give out, because families are able to come and get it. So like our neighborhood kiddos that live right around here that go to Hawthorne, they come in every Friday to get it from Empower Place because they're not in school right now. So anybody anywhere can come on Fridays in Empower Place and get it throughout the summer. And then during the school year, we would encourage them to sign up for their school, just because then they get it the entire school year. People don't have to come in every week. It's automatically given to the kids and put in their backpack. So it's just easier for the families, but they're more than welcome to come into Empower Place too. Maybe they only want one a month or something like that, and that lasts them. They can completely do that too if they don't want to sign up forever for it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Mhm. Do we have any other questions about Empower Place or SNAP, free and reduced meals? We gave you so much information today, and thank you for asking such great questions too. I know Mo was recording this, so if you have any other questions, and then I don't know if you know, so we're Partnership Health Center. You can kind of see it right behind my window here. We are our office, the Family Engagement Office. There's 4 of us that hangs out in this office together, but we're right up here across from Partnership, right next to the Learning Kitchen. Or you can find us in Empower Place, or you can find us in that RA booth. So those are kind of the 3 locations. We all are semi-informed on all of the different things. And so if you have a question about SNAP and you can't find Tate, come find me. If you have a question about free and reduced meals, you can't find me, but you can find Emily, go ask them. And so just let us know if you have any questions. We're always happy to answer them. We're also hanging out in the store a lot, so you can find us there too if you have any questions. Well, thank you all so much for your time today. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. Mo, did you have anything else that you wanted to end with at all today?
No, I didn't. If anyone had any questions, I'm open to those, but yeah, thanks so much for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Awesome.
But just to be clear, any day of the week, I can tell people that have kids during the summer, the kids can come in on Friday and get a weekend backpack thing.
Absolutely.
Power
Yep. So we will have Empower Packs every Friday from now until infinity. And so, yeah, send them on in to get them. And then, yeah, if you notice right now for the next 3 weeks, send them on in for breakfast or lunch. And then once school starts, we'll kind of just be doing those after school meals. And it's really confusing that we don't offer breakfast and lunch. I get it, but because MCPS gets reimbursed for those meals, we can't. So we just do after school meals. And so we'll be having those again.
Cool.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you all.